Hi, this is Brent with Inside Audio, back with another release from Slate Digital. This time we have MOTT, which is basically more over the top than the original OTT, which found itself bedded into Ableton Live, and basically people liked OTT for the really polished sound that it gave to electronic music production. Even just dialing it into sort of 10% really brings the sound alive, and I'm going to show you how we can achieve results from bombastic electronic productions through to contemporary sort of classical scores, because you'd be surprised where MOTT can make itself at home. So let's get into it. So let's start off with a quick walkthrough and overview of the interface of MOTT, then we'll do some sound examples and we'll summarize towards the end of the video. So the quick set menu on the left hand side here features some really incredible sounding presets which you can just quickly select at your fingertips. OTT is an exact recreation of the original preset that was designed for Ableton Live. Then we have the brand new hip hop preset that gives you really solid low end, which is what we were missing with the original OTT with some phasing issues. And basically this gives you that solid low end and the clear high frequencies, so perfect for stuff like 808s. And then lastly we have Vox, so this is a new preset that pushes the element to the front of the mix, so it's crystal clear, plenty of presence, perfect for vocals, background vocals, vocal chops, anything with vocals on it. On the right hand side we have the amount control, so this is basically the main control which is going to adjust how much you want to process the signal. This allows you to adjust how much compression is applied to all of the bands together, so it's like a global control for the highs, the lows and the mids. It scales all of the ratios, the input and the output, and it's exactly how the amount knob works in the original OTT in Ableton. Then in the center we have our low, mid and high band amounts, only on MOTT, so this gives us more control, and you'll start to see this as we delve into the plugin. You get more and more and more control. So with the new amount per band control, this allows us to set the amount on each individual band, the highs, the mids and the lows, and basically this is letting us sculpt our sound so much more precisely than ever before possible with just the traditional OTT. To the bottom right we have the timing, so this means that you can change the character of MOTT with the timing control. So this changes the attack and the release parameters from 10% to 1000%, and this will give you really quite different results, exactly how the timing knob works on the original OTT again. Then the tone knobs, which are brand new on MOTT, mean you really don't have to use much more than just this. You're not going to have to reach for another EQ because you can do it inside of MOTT. So you can instantly shape the lows and the highs with the tone knobs. The low tone knob is going to let you dial in just the right amount of sub and the low frequencies. And then the high tone knob allows you to adjust high and airy frequencies, and it's not going to be too resonant or too harsh because it's really smooth top end. Then we've got our output gain, so we can basically sort out any gain compensation issues. And then on the left hand side below the quick set menu, we have clip, soft and hard knee, RMS peak toggles. So the clip is really nice, and this basically engages a soft clipper on each band. Then we have the soft and the hard knee. This is just the knee's compression shape across all bands again, and it's exactly like the original soft knee button on the OTT. Then lastly, the RMS peak level allows you to choose whether MOTT uses RMS or peak detection, exactly like the original OTT. So where things get really fun is in the advanced mode. So we were looking in the easy panel, now we're in the advanced panel. So MOTT's advanced mode gives us complete control over MOTT with lots of new features that go way beyond what's possible with Ableton's OTT. So the center section of the plugin is going to allow you to precisely adjust the low, mid and high bands with a really nice frequency display, which is easy to read with these really nice meters. In the advanced mode of MOTT, you have access to global macro controls to the left side of the meters. So this gives you the ability to tweak all of the controls across the bands quickly and easily while keeping the relationship between the bands intact. So it means there's no more breaking the preset essentially. Something only available on MOTT is this brand new stereo link feature. We have this as a global control, but we can also take stereo link control of individual bands yet again. Below the meters we have attack and release controls, and again you'll start to see this theme where we have this global control and we also have independent controls as well. Then we have this timing style. So Classic gives you the exact recreation of the original OTT's timing style, Then if we go through them to smooth, this is going to give us a much more smooth transient response, which is really great on vocals and vocal chops and anything that you want to sit in the front of the mix but without poking out too much. And then we have smack, which infuses some additional punch to the transients, so it gives it a more intense attack for basically stuff like drums, really percussive material. It'll be a great setting to use on those. And our last section is our preset browser. You can create your own presets, you can import presets, and we've got some really great starting presets here, which I've used for my demo examples, and then I've just tweaked them a little bit to fit. So let's have a listen to my 5 favorite features of MOTT with some examples. So my first favorite feature of MOTT is the quickset menu. So quickset basically gives us 3 incredibly good sounding presets right at our fingertips, and I just love the workflow here. Literally just click one of these and adjust it. So here's my main part. It's a pluck, and to me it's a bit dull. I just want to give it some more energy and clean it up so that it has more presence in the mix, and I can literally do that in about 2 clicks. So first of all, let's hear the part. Okay, I'm going to take it out of bypass and I'm going to select OTT mode, and let's have a listen now. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back on the gain compensation, so we're matching our level, and I'm going to pull back on the amount, and I'm going to pull down the lows and accentuate some more mids. Let's have a listen. Okay, and the last tweak, I'm just going to boost my highs and again pull down on them lows because I don't really need them. And let's do a before and after. So here's before. And here's with MOTT. Number 2 is global and individual amount control. I've got this on my drum bus. Let's quickly hear a before. And here's after. So I've got much more tight low end, but also I'm using MOTT here as almost like a sound design tool to tighten up the overall rhythm and the feel of this drum piece, and I can do that by using the global and individual controls, more importantly. So I loaded up a preset here, drums, sparkle, and then I've took some individual control of the bands, as you can see, and I've also took global control, and I can take this even further in the advanced menu by adjusting the attack and release parameters of each individual band. So I've basically adjusted the mids and the highs to make the percussion tighter, and then I've adjusted the low end so that's really punchy, and it just gives me more control, and it means I can use this in a way that is a sound designer's dream. Number 3 is these super simple low and high controls on the right hand side of MOTT. Now, although these aren't the fanciest part of the plugin, I really think that they are super useful for getting you even closer to dialing in the perfect tone. So I have an acoustic guitar track here for this sort of contemporary classical score, and I'm using MOTT in a really subtle way, just using a preset, and then I've adjusted the tone. Let's do a little before and after. And with MOTT. My fourth favorite feature of MOTT is advanced mode. Without doubt, this is a sound designer's dream, and it's also super useful for mixing on unlikely sources. So I have this wind ostinato. Let's have a listen without MOTT. And again, I just want to add a little bit more energy to the part because it needs to stand out in the mix because it's one of the main ostinatos. So I've gone into MOTT and I've actually gone with the master preset, and then heading in the advanced panel, I've decided I want to change the timing style to smooth so that the compression is basically a lot smoother. And then what I can do is I can adjust individual bands. So I don't need any low information here at all, so it's turned off. And then in the center, I've made the attack slightly slower and I want the highs to attack slightly faster. And then with the mid control, I can adjust the attack time so that it has a quicker attack time, and I'm going to make the highs slightly slower than the mids. And again, in the advanced panel, we have the ability to do these things which we would never otherwise be able to do. Then what I can do is I can solo individual bands. And lastly, with the ability to bypass and solo individual bands, I can now hear the actual addition that MOTT is giving to the source. So here I can hear that from sort of 3K to 20K, MOTT is just giving those wind ostinatos the air that it needs to stand out in the piece. And that's why I love the advanced mode, is you can really get in deep and dial in your sound. And finally at number 5 is the presets. So I feel that MOTT comes with some expertly designed presets, and these are a fantastic starting point for what can seem like a little bit of a confusing concept to understand. Upward expansion and compression can feel a little bit trickier for you, a newbie, and I think this, paired with a lot of the content that is available for All Access members, is a great way to start utilizing this plugin. So I've actually got this on my master here, and I feel like MOTT is honestly at home on individual, on buses, and even on masters. So I'm using a master enhancer here, backing off the amount to about 20%, and it's just adding some sweetness and some polish to this track that it otherwise wouldn't have. Let's have a listen. So here's before. And here's after. So it's time to wrap up. For me personally, I think MOTT is one of my favourite additions ever to the All Access Pass. I've been a huge user of OTT and multi-band upwards compression on, like you've seen, electronic music scores and stuff like classical music scores. I think it has a place on modern production for all genres, and with this MOTT plugin, I finally have more control over things like advanced parameters, timing, preserving my low end, and really dialing in precise control with this plugin. That's what I love about it. Let us know what you love about it. Hit the subscribe and the like icon, and we'll see you in the next video.